You're with 2 Sports Action, live from the Manawatu Sports Stadium in Palmerston North for the second leg of our Star Series. And on court we have Central against our visitors from overseas, England. And currently Central, the local team, lead 14-10. And it's been quite interesting, really. The English coach have decided to field in the starting lineup a rather different one to the one that they fielded against North on Friday night.
Yes, April, we were just talking about that during the break, how really remarkably different the shooting pair is with Law and Carpenter compared to Neville and Stanley, who we saw the other night, which I think actually pays credit to what Geordie was saying. Beardwood is using this as a selection process as well. She's trying different combinations because she had a winning lineup on Friday.
Yes, and it also mixes it up for the team playing against you. They would have been looking at Neville and Stanley and looking how they were playing, and they played very much a driving style into the circle, whereas these two are more holders, and that's a higher, loopier pass. So it's interesting now for the Central team to see how they can adapt.
And both sides unchanged after the quarter.
Good. Already we see Simu just making a little bit of movement around the shooter, but that's the hold she likes. That's when Simu could do quite well just to tuck in behind her at the last minute and keep her high in the circle.
In the first match, England was slow to start but had a huge second quarter after finding their rhythm. May well be what we see today.
Goal attack, penalty pass.
Charteris again moving from out of Canterbury to come up into the Central side. Well, bit of a shambles there. And Central lucky to still have it.
Such an advantage.
A lovely little triangle feed that opens Colling up.
Belinda Colling shot 5 from 5, 100% in that first quarter. Interesting enough, it was the shooters who were shooting low. Law, 6 from 9, it's only 66%, and Whipper-Eating, 9 from 15, 60%. It's not usual for Whipper-Eating to have those kind of stats in a match. As we said, it's a higher level.
Wow, look at the tussle going on between Charteris and Carpenter.
Oh, hard luck, Pelisi Semu. I thought she had a toss on that one. I thought her timing was very good.
Advantage break, wing attack.
Again, Hardcastle looked sideward, didn't look down. And there is Belinda Colling just creeping around the back, unseen until the feed came. Great work from the captain. There's Manawatu Stu bowing to the crowd. So he'd done it all himself.
Now, Jules, perhaps you'll agree with me. Lynn Carpenter, the goal attack for England, moves very much like Nicole Kuzak, the Australian shooter. And she and Belinda Charteris are coming head-to-head quite often with the way that they move on court.
Yes, I don't think there's anybody quite like Nicole Kuzak, though. I think she's probably one of the best goal attacks in the world. But, yes, a similar style. Lovely little flick pass.
Great feed for Rangatawa into the shooters. And Majid Rangatawa in centre for Central. And a really great start to this match.
On the Coca-Cola replay, you see the lovely skills here with this quick little flick pass into the circle from Rangatawa. She's the pick of the mid-quarters for me at this stage of the game. She's not only playing a good attacking game, but a good defensive game as well. Good drive from Hardcastle. Bit of purpose about it.
Contact wing defence, penalty pass, Central.
Whoa, great stretch. Colling popping.
Holding goal defence, penalty pass or shot, Central. Yep.
Well, it's a gimme to... Then we have Tanya Cox heading up from Wellington to check out today's action. Of course, Tanya Cox is now retired from netball. One of the characters of the game, hanging up her shoes.
Advantage instruction, wing attack.
Straight up the middle of the court from Central.
Thank you.
It'll be just fine, Belinda.
Yes, always pays to be polite to the umpire, doesn't it? Mind your manners. On the board, 5 the difference. 19 Central lead England, who have 14 goals. 10 minutes to go in the first half.
Contact penalty pass or shot.
Colin covering a lot of ground there.
Yeah, Newton struggling to keep up with her actually, but delayed on her attempt at the intercept.
Simultaneous break or toss. Goal attack.
Both players breaking at the
Goal
same
attack, goal
time.
defence. Where you are, goal attack.
Simultaneous,
Thank
it's just
you.
a big show-off word, really.
Contact, penalty pass, goal defence.
Difficult for Semu here. 2 shooters in.
Contact keeper. Step in, please shoot it where you are. Thank you. Beside and away, keeper. Thank you. Obstruction, goal defence, counts.
Oh, it's nice to see some English support here for the travelling team. Newton collecting the untidy ball.
Zone-style defence being put on by the Central team in the mid-court, trying to pick up the intercept.
And the English side admit they've been instructed when a zone comes, just send a big pass south and hope it arrives into the hands of a fellow player.
Pass. Okay.
Sheryl Clark getting pinned there for contact as the goal attack was trying to run out of court to go back in behind the baseline. You can't do that.
Contact, wing defence, penalty pass, outside.
Law not keen to take the long shot. She likes to be within a shorter radius to the goal.
Makes those accuracy figures look good, doesn't it, at the end of the match?
And perhaps the New Zealand defenders should actually look to push her forward and keep her up there with that call about not being that confident further out.
Good point.
Well, that's right. That's what I was talking about before. When Law's at the top, if Semu snuck round behind her and kept her high in the circle, it's when she gets those holds right back under. That's what she likes.
Tell you what, courtside, this Lorraine Law, she's huge. She's very tall. Jules, you look like a midget standing next to her on court.
I think so would you, April, because
you're right.
She's 1.96'3". So she had her big time in basketball. Didn't come back to netball until she was watching the tally one day. Thought, well, I can do that. And joined in, and great attempt there from Newton.
Some very good grovelling from Whipper Eaty down the baseline to let Colling finish that one off.
Defending from behind, doesn't upset Belinda Colling. 6 in from 6 attempts. Leading by example, the captain. Oh, Manawatu, Stu, show your stuff.
Manawatu Stu should be watching the game.
Yeah.
Advantage, obstruction, goal defence.
Too busy showing off in front of the all-female crowd, I think.
Advantage, contact.
Big pass clearing to Colling.
And big bounce as well. That certainly came well off the floorboards.
Yes.
Of course, the bounce pass is a slower pass and is easier to intercept. There are times when it's very effective in the game, however.
Well, look at that. Central storming away in this quarter. 23-16 they lead. Make that 24. Swish shot from Whipper Eaty. There we have. Oh, good. And hard to do because she was on her way back as well.
Yes, she's got good elevation, Semu. And that's the thing, when Laura's right back under the post there, if you can jam her in and don't give her any room. So there's two alternatives, either keep her high or jam her right and low, or move her. Get her moving.
This is encouraging for Georgina Salter to see the Central coach. Bit of consistency and continuity from this Central lineup. Oh, easy ball, Manafort, well done. Keeping her distance, manages to deflect the pass. It was actually Carpenter who heralds from basketball territory, the goal attack. And South African-born Law. I mean, we know how tall some of the South African netballers can be. She came out to England after her school years.
Yes, interesting. Talking to Yvonne Willering, she was saying that the team that's been selected by South Africa is quite a tall side.
Contact goal defence, really pass.
Carpenter with a wise old head, getting the contact from Charteris.
That's her first shot in this quarter, Carpenter. She's only shot 5 goals in the match so far. 5 in.
Look at how Colling is running Siddle around that court. Siddle needs to stop, post up, and actually wait for her to come to her.
Yeah, she's just chasing her at the moment, isn't she, April?
Would be good to see the return of the Caribbean Dream, as you called them, April, in the first match. Newton in keep and young McClomber in the back.
At the moment, we've got Helen Manawatu on the court. It looks like she may have cramping problems in her legs. It's heavily strapped around her thigh.
On the replay, we're just looking at it, April, following the speed of Colling that you were mentioning, working hard, and yes, Manawatu down on court, and there is some warming up going on, so I think we're certainly going to see some changes. Central looking collected. Georgie taking the time to have a few tips thrown their way.
Well, Joe, you really did need to see a change, because look at the scoreline, 26-18. It's like Central have gotten away with it, and England need to pull the ranks in if they're going to be competitive by the end of the game.
You're right, and with there are some exceptional players we've heard about who are still off to come off the English bench. Good to see them today. The tall goalkeeper, Alec Astle there, goal shoot, I should say. But no, it doesn't look like she's keen to make too many changes. No bibs are coming off, except we do see Neville warming up at the back.
I think Neville would just be helping the defender who's
yes, you're right.
with her.
I couldn't see that far, April. My eyesight's not good enough.
Oh, you dear old thing.
Thanks for the camera.
15 to go.
Umpires calling the time. Have 2 minutes to get a player off. Injury time. Get a player off or get back on with the game. And on the board, less than 6 minutes in the half.
Okay, back on, ready, start. Come on, England, please.
Yes, look at the score difference. 26-18. Very hard to peg back a lead against a storming New Zealand side. Central found the rhythm. Good to do it too at Manawatu Stadium in front of the home crowd. This is Star Series netball on 2 Sports Action. For those of you unaware, 3 regional teams, North, Central and South, up against a touring English side.
Yes, and Central have had their difficulties in their mid-court area, of course, losing Nolene Taurua, and Julie Seymour is only playing half matches at the moment because of her earlier injury. Just taking care of that, don't want to overdo it.
Yeah, the dodgy knee is not worth risking at the moment with an F&P series looming. There she is there, so we might see her for patches of the match, but very unlikely to see her for a full 60. Aspinall did not even consider to turn and see Law, who had driven out of the circle. Full credit to Semu, she's working very hard, as well as looking after Law, still hunting for the odd intercept.
Semu's really come on this season. Again, a well-executed pass from the edge of the circle. The outside defenders really need to keep them off so that they can get in front of her defensively. Aspinall again, this time she just turns at the last minute, but you can see her body angle when she takes the ball isn't fully turned.
Carpenter, the goal attack, actually holds the record in England for the best goals scored. She scored 80 out of 81 goals in a match for East Surrey. For Surrey against East Essex, imagine that. But at the end of court, it's Belinda Colling who's looking hot today. She's shot 16 from 16. But I don't like to talk about a shooter.
I was just going to say, don't you say a word, Joe.
I chose to do it when she wasn't shooting.
Switching keeper on the landing.
God.
Now, she shouldn't be missing those shots. They're right under the post.
Exactly.
It's a gimme.
And she's only inches from the net herself.
Advantage obstruction, wing defence. Contact with the ball.
Maybe she should slam dunk them.
probably could.
Here we have Yvonne Willering, and alongside her Marlene Flavel, another New Zealand selector. Their eye on the teams, and also Rhonda Wilcox is joining them in the selection process. Some of you will have remembered her as Rhonda Meads, of course.
Pine Tree's daughter.
That's the one. Pine Needle.
Pine Needle, yeah.
Quick turnaround from the central side.
The away arm deflecting the ball, but it's snaffled up again by Hardcastle. And Colling, tell you what, it's the goal attacks that are making them count today. Carpenter shooting 100%, as well as Colling.
But what some great tracking off the centre pass there from Charteris. She stuck to Carpenter like glue.
That's held, absolutely. Yeah. She waited for it to come free. Nothing was happening, and as a result, threw it away.
Our ball, haven't released the ball within 3 seconds. Tribute to the defence.
Yes, good positioning from Rangatawa. She saw that Colling was on that side of the goal. Got herself round there for the swinging pass.
That's the first miss. But Whipper-Easy makes it count.
And I think that was her first shot after you said something too, Joe.
More than likely.
It is you.
Don't say that, I'll get fired. And again, the nice, confident long shot from the teenager. Timing her jump, but it doesn't deter Lorraine Law. On the board, 2 minutes in the half. This has been Central's quarter. 31, they lead England 22. Remember, England coming off a win against North on Friday night. Win by only 1 goal. The last couple of seconds of the match.
Just a little bit far in front of Law that time with the pass.
See how
and
delicate.
Law's feet aren't quick enough to go for it. That she's tall but doesn't have the quick footwork with it.
Actually, I was going to go there, Jules. It's her footwork, because that was a superb pass into space.
Seemed like she got a shock that it actually didn't come to her, and too late to move. At this end of court, Newton had got a great intercept, but they'd let it go, and Central capitalise. And perhaps not to pick on her, but then again, the elevation, a lot of air under that pass, but Law not able to rise to the challenge.
Fairly one-dimensional in her play.
Well, Teresa was left unmarked, and great vision from Rangatawa.
Amy Jean Rangatawa is having a superb game in mid-court today. Her passing, her balancing, always there. Just the kind of centre you want. And look at that. Beautiful.
That was a pass full of cunning. Looked at Whipty on the baseline and snuck the little bounce through to Colling. Pretty to watch.
Much more settled side, this Central team. They've had some more time together and really looking comfortable today.
I just think it's great too for these sides to have somebody new coaching them. It gives the freshness about their thoughts on the game.
That was good work from Lonsdale, releasing while still in the air and getting it to Law. As we talked about, the movement too, giving Rangatawa the opportunity to play with Colling, and it's doing her game a lot of good. Half-time, Jodie Tahuna looks ready to take the court, but the score as we go into the break. Central with a big lead over England, 34-23. Netball continues on 2 Sports Action in just a moment.
It's a dangerous group, man. Like this is dangerous.